Hello, everybody. Yay. Good. Nope. Wait. Nope. Okay. There. Only an echo for a second. Yeah. So Barbara mentioned about um, the reminder that I put out that it said viewing party tomorrow. That's because I posted that yesterday. And then what I did today was I just did an update on it to say, we're starting in an hour. And I didn't change the title. So it still said viewing party tomorrow because I posted it yesterday. So that's why it said that. Hello, everybody. I'm so glad that you're here. And I'm going to make sure to do those reminders more often. Yeah. So, yes, I'm glad that a bunch of you got here because of that reminder. So, I have so much to share with you guys today. We're gonna, for those of you who have never been to one of these before, you're gonna hear it referred to as a JAMSS session, which stands for Jane's Art Monster Support Squad. But you'll also hear these events referred to as a viewing party. So if we say JAMSS session or viewing party, it's the same thing. It's the same event. So that's what today is. Tomorrow is, what is tomorrow? Saturday. Then Sunday. My head is, I don't know, I have a lot going on this week. And so my head is kind of out of it right now. But I have a lot that I want to share with you guys today. So mainly what we're going to do today is we're going to watch the elephant video. And we can skip through it if you guys are like, nah, we're good on this part. Or it's starting to get repetitive. We can skip parts of it. If you have a question about something specific in the video, let me know whenever, and then that way when we get to that part, I can make sure to kind of stop and talk about it. I am set up for demos, so I just have a little canvas here that's prepared. I've got my chalk pencil, so we can, whatever parts of the video you might have had a hard time with, let me know, and we will spend some time on that today. With regards to next week's video, we'll talk about that in a minute, but I have a couple other things I want to share with you too. So just a lot today. And hello, everyone who joined us since I started. Yeah, you just got a set of these chalk pencils. They are awesome. I love them so much. And yeah, I wish that they sold them individually. I think I've only been able to find the sets, but clearly I used the white the most, and then, a couple of the other colors, but my white one is halfway gone. So I either have to find another one that works just as good, or I'm going to have to just buy a whole another set of them, or just start relying on another color. But, okay, so let's go ahead and get started on our video. Remember to shout out if you have questions. That's what I'm here for. So don't be afraid to ask questions. If there's something that you're like, I don't understand that, I couldn't do that part, then we'll jump over and we'll do a demo if you need, okay? So I am here for you, friends. All right, here we go. Let me know if the audio is okay. The mixture of the audio and my voice, obviously. I don't think you're hearing that, are you? Do you hear the video at all?
You want to get crazy and do like a wild colored underpainting, that would be fine as well. Now, before we get started, I'm going to apply a grid to this canvas.
Oh, there. Now you can hear it, huh? Is that better? Does the white charcoal work the same? White charcoal, I think, is really just chalk. But I don't know. I really don't know. Yeah, we keep the video down kind of quiet because, if you want to like listen to everything I'm saying and whatever, you can watch the actual video. The purpose of this event is mostly to give you clarification and help with any elements that you might have struggled with or parts that you're unsure of before you even get started. Thanks, Jennifer. Yeah, I'm excited about that. There's a couple of bugs that I need to work out based on some of the feedback that you guys gave me and a couple of things that I saw on the back end once a couple of orders came through. So yeah, there's definitely some things that I need to work on in there before it can go public.
Lines on my grid where I see them here. So, for example, let's start right over here. See this square here with that tiny little corner?
So
basically,
you can be completely honest. It's not cheating. I'm not going to yell at anybody. But did anybody do this and not trace? Either you used, or not grid. Either you used the tracing element or you drew it on by hand. And if you didn't use the grid, why? What about the grid makes you say, nope?
I don't really know why some people prefer
Hello, Sue.
tracing over gridding.
Gridded.
Gridding doesn't take any more time to.
Jennifer, I'm discontinuing the ones that are on clearance. It's mostly just a bunch of little ones. And I'm just clearancing them because, like the round brushes, I just have way too many sizes. I don't use all of them. And because I don't use them, you guys don't buy them. You guys tend to buy the ones that I use a lot for obvious reasons. I've just discovered that there's sizes I don't use, and I don't feel like I'll ever use them on a consistent enough basis. So that's why.
Getting these shapes in. Let's see, we've got our eyes
Stacy freehanded it.
right here.
Lindsay's learning to grid.
A
Good.
lot of people are super resistant to gridding.
Ashley hasn't painted him yet. Have you gridded him or drawn him yet, Ashley?
You know,
Grid and grid.
doing more complex images.
The grid is too much work.
Portraits is something that
You know what, Cindy? If you're confident freehanding it, then there's no reason to grid. You know, the grid is for people who aren't confident in their drawing skills. Like me, I'm not confident in my drawing skills. My drawing skills are subpar. And then there's a basement, the subpar. That's where my drawing skills are. So I have to grid. Otherwise, I would have one twisted looking elephant. So, but if you feel like you're confident and you don't need that, then there's no reason to use it.
over way too far into this grid.
It does take extra time, yep.
It ends really right about there.
6 by 8, so that would be the 12 by 16. You could use the same grid, Gretchen,
Swoops down.
that I used here. You would just do a 1-inch grid instead of a 2-inch grid, but it would be the exact same one that I did.
Tracing is great. I'm not saying that it's not valuable or that you should never.
Good, Marlene.
What I'm saying is, I don't think.
Good, Ashley, good. But Cindy, that's good though, because you will push yourself to learn, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Only ever
I would rather have you go, no grid, and sketch it on there,
kind of get you started.
rather than have you say, no, I'm not doing it at all because I don't want to do the grid.
It's not going to teach you how to draw. But if you can get the hang of gridding,
Oh no, Jennifer, did I include a 9 by 12? I think there's a 9 by 12 grid in that PDF.
and then right here, this is all really kind of
Good, Deborah.
shadow, so I'm being really general with this line.
So Lindsay, you know what I'm talking about. We're gridding, huh?
So I'm being super sketchy with it, just so I remember
Sharon had tech issues.
it's not a hard line. This is just a shadow.
It really does, Gretchen, yeah. And that's kind of what I did there with that sketchy line that you see where his trunk is. That's just saying that's where a shadow is.
Just a little farther than what's on the image, though, just for my own preference. You know, just because
Good, Sharon.
on the image doesn't mean that you have to stick with that. You can change it however you want.
So there's not a 9 by 12? Jennifer, I'm sorry. I should have included a 9 by 12 in there. I will do that for the next one. I promise. But in the meantime, you can just follow the blog post that I wrote a while back about getting a grid on an image, and that should help you out.
Darker here and lighter here.
I do want your guys' help.
And darker
So usually in about 10 minutes is when I would show you what we're doing next week, but it's still a little early in the week. It's only Friday. As of right now, I don't have anything. So I don't have anything to show you. I have at least 2 paintings buzzing around in my head right now, though, that I really, really, really want to get out, but I can't. And I'll explain that to you in a few minutes. They're not paintings that I can allow myself the time to sit down and do right now. So I want that time. I want to knock out a painting for next week so that I can have that time. So I need you guys to help me out, come up with a very simple painting for next week. So give me your suggestions. Like I said, something simple, because it's something I really want to just kind of be able to knock out and then go, okay, now I'm going to go focus on this beast. At least one of the paintings on my to-do list is a beast. And 50% of my audience is going to say, yes. And the other 50% of my audience is going to say, no. I'm pretty sure most of you will say, yes. But there'll be one or two of you who will be, The beasts are good. I enjoy the beasts as well. You know what, Denise? So here's kind of what happens with my process. My process is, hey, I have a great idea and I pursue it. I run down a couple of ideas with it and really push it for a while. And if nothing comes of it right away, I kind of abandon it because I don't, because it's my job, I don't have the luxury of chasing an idea for weeks. I have to get something right then and there, or I have to move on. But I still have all of the ideas that I was working on for that. So it is something that I'll be returning to. But it wasn't working for me at that moment, and I didn't know why, so I had to take a step back. Am I missing his ear? If you look at I got a lot of comments about his ear, and people are like, I'm pretty sure that's his ear. It's not his ear, it's his body. If you look at the reference image, you can't see his ear. You can see where his ear connects. So I'm assuming he's an African elephant. They have very small ears. And if you look, you can see like the hair on the inside of his ear. His ear is laid back against his body. And so you see his body, but not his ear. I didn't just forget the elephant's ear. I had a lot of people who are like, I think you forgot his ear. I'm like, did you look at my reference image? There's no ear on there. I like the black canvas paintings too. Bees on a flower. I don't know how simple that would be for me right now. Flowers are complicated. Jennifer, that's kind of what I was thinking, but then I thought, are people going to be irritated if I do practically the same painting almost 2 weeks in a row? But that's kind of the way I'm leaning. I might have to do it. Phases of the moon like the one Cindy did? I don't want to copy you. That would be incredible, though. I do love the moon. The blue flamingo. Good. I'm so glad you guys all like the beasts. They are awesome. A beast in a glass bottle? Probably not this week. Like I said, I need something kind of simple. But yeah, I have been wanting to paint some glass. I've really been wanting to paint like some rainbow glass, some like colored glass bottles. A wave, right now maybe. I'm not great at waves. Simple lemons. We did talk about doing some of that in Patreon, Marlene. I don't know if you guys saw the food videos that we did, but some people were recommending lemons. So that's something that I definitely want to do, at least for you guys. Oh, that is 50 years, isn't it? I won't use texture. All right, I can maybe look at doing some moon stuff.
As we get up into here, that kind of starts to go away. I'm just going to scrub it in.
A seashell, and I'm not sure, Ren's, what? A drunken beast?
I know what I'm going to do. But here, I don't really know exactly how I'm going to do all of this.
Oh, Ashley, a beast is just what we refer to as long videos. Typically the paintings are a little bit more challenging, but the videos are long. So when I have my videos that are approaching 2 hours, that's when I'm like, okay, this one's a beast. So it doesn't mean the painting is actually of a beast, just that the video is a beast. Ooh, the Earth coming up over the moon. That's always an interesting image, isn't it? So in a few minutes, typically at the 20-minute mark is where I show you guys what we're doing for the next week. So maybe at the 20-minute mark, I'll just kind of stop and go over some of the things that I've been hinting at today. Ugh, I know, it's been so hot here too. And there's no AC or anything in my studio here. So I try to keep my door shut during the day while I work to keep Mr. Moon and Olaf out because they bug. But then it gets really hot in here, and I've had the door shut all day. If I leave the door open, then I at least get a little bit of the AC from the house moving in here. But yeah, it's hot. The 20-minute mark. Oh, the Darklings. Okay, now I gotta go back and look at what you said. The Darkling Beast. I gotcha. Oh, Deb, I love that you just quoted The Stand. I love that book so much.
Let's continue through the rest of the elephant before we get too carried away with the trunk there.
Okay, I like to paint the moon.
Of course, on the eyebrow.
All right, I'll look and see what I can come up with. Man, we have so many black canvas paintings coming up. It's part of it is because, you know, Frederick's Canvas sponsors my well, hello Vince. Frederick's Canvas sponsors my videos. So, you know, the canvas pads, they send me all of that, and they just sent me a case of the black canvas pads, and a case is like this. I don't know how many canvas pads are in there, but the thing is heavy. So I have a whole box like this of black Frederick's canvas pads. So, and actually we do have a few black canvas paintings coming up. Oh no, that one that I was just thinking of, that's not a black canvas painting. That's a different one. Always have black canvases on hand, man. Always. If you don't have black canvases, if you can't get it, I don't have the bottle here, but let me pop over here real quick and show you. This canvas, this is just a white canvas, but I did not put black paint on it. This is black gesso. So as you can see, it's a little bit more flat. And then before it was dry, I dropped it. But this is just the Liquitex black gesso. And really the texture of it is very similar to the Frederick's black canvases. So if you can't get the Frederick's canvases, or you just don't want to for one reason or the other, and you want some black gesso, get this Liquitex black gesso. The texture is really nice. So there you go. That's a tip from me to you. And it's about 20 after, so we can just go ahead and have our chat. So I am personally, you should always have more black canvas pads. Absolutely. I am working personally on being a little bit more confident. It's just always something that I'm working on. You know, there's a lot of things that I'll put out to you guys that I feel pretty confident about. There's things that I'm like, I don't feel very confident about that. Hello, Tan. We're glad that you're here. But especially when the art feels a little bit more personal to me, it's hard for me to be completely confident sometimes. Like if I really like something, or if it came from a place within me and not just like an idea for a painting for a video that I had, then I tend to not show those to anybody. So I'm going to show you something that I painted yesterday. It's just something that I knocked out in about an hour. I painted really fast, really loosely. I didn't allow myself to go back make corrections, make alterations. If I felt like something wasn't working out on part of it, I just moved on. I just stopped doing that part. So there's parts that are like really goofy looking. There's parts that the canvas isn't even fully covered, but I wanted to show you because it does kind of pertain to something we'll be doing soon. And showing you will help me work on my confidence issue. So here's my painting that I did yesterday in, like I said, about an hour. So you can't look at it a whole lot because it's got some wackiness. So there's my, oh man, she kind of looks like she has the pox. It's just the, and the canvas is showing, and yeah. So I did this yesterday in about an hour. Do, 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 do. And that's what all the white is around her nose. That's the canvas showing. So I show you that. It's not amazing. It's not amazing. I am proud of it because I did it in like an hour. The last portrait that I did, I worked on for 2 weeks. So to be able to do that in an hour, I was pretty happy with that. I was pretty proud of that. Yeah, that's true, Debbie. It's confident issues is kind of an artist thing. That's what happens. Artists do tend to, and I think especially if it's a little bit more personal, I think that the confidence issues come along with that even more. If I can do like a painting that I don't really care about, whether it looks great or whether it looks horrible, I'm pretty much, just like, here you go. I don't really care. But if it's something that I really love, whether it's awesome or terrible, then I tend to hold that a little bit closer. So I show you that because, like I said, my other portrait that I did, which is equally strange looking, but it was the first one I ever did. I'll show you. I don't show this off very often. Some of you have seen it. But I worked on this one for about 2 weeks on and off. So this was my very first portrait that I ever did. And her face is totally strange because my grid got totally strange when I was doing it, but I love her anyway. So this one I worked on for a lot longer, but I show you those because there's a reason that I am working on portraits. The strangeness does work. It kind of gives her like a little bit of an otherworldly type look. So I really, really like it. I show you that because in the next couple of weeks, I'm going to be doing a video with a new Fredericks product. They asked me to try out these canvases, and then there'll be a giveaway on these canvases as well. And again, I apologize to all you guys in Canada or internationally. The canvas giveaways are in the US only. It's just so expensive to ship. But Michelle, we're in the middle of the 20-minute mark. Excuse me. I feel like I'm gonna die now. The allergies have been killing me this year. They asked me to try out this canvas, and we will be doing a giveaway with these two. And so this is a 16 by 20. It's a blue label, which is their this is their high-end canvas. I typically do the red label. And this is the ultra smooth canvas. So it's very, very smooth. And they said that it's excellent for portraits. So I thought maybe I would do a portrait for a video. Maybe. So that's one of the paintings that I'm like, I really want to get started on it because I have my image and everything. I actually bought a reference image. I don't usually buy reference images. I just get free ones. But I bought a reference image for that idea, and I really want to get started on it. It will just be black and white because since we're talking about portraits, there's a lot of people who are like, I want to learn how to do portraits. And I'm like, you don't just learn how to do portraits. You have to learn, there's so many concepts that go into making a portrait. And if you can learn those concepts, you can do a portrait. That's why I can muddle my way through a portrait, because I know and I understand a lot of these concepts. So yeah, we'll do a portrait, but it's going to be in black and white, and I'll talk about why it's going to be in black and white in the video. But the reference image that I bought actually has a color version too. So I'll probably have to use that one too. And maybe we'll do a color version of it another time. And we'll talk about, you know, like how to create skin tones. So all of the skin on her, which is why her face is like so multicolored, because like I said, I did it in an hour and I didn't allow myself to go back and make changes. I made her skin color all in alizarin crimson, yellow oxide, and ultramarine blue. Those are the colors I used to make her skin. You know, a lot of people jump straight to brown or pink or red and white or, you know, whatever, but you have to have some blue in there, maybe even some purple, maybe even some green, you know, so it's just easier to use red, yellow, and blue to make skin. So, yeah. But we're going to do black and white first, because the red, yellow, and blue to make skin is like a whole nother topic. And I think all of those topics together will get muddled and could get really confusing. Where black and white's easy. You focus on the values, you focus on the shapes, then you've got a portrait. And I will be doing gridding on it, obviously, because that's what I do. That's part of learning how to do a portrait. When in the elephant video here, you know, we talked about gridding, and I said, if moving on to more advanced images is something that you want to do, you know, for example, if you ever want to start doing portraits, I said specifically, you have to learn how to grid, or at least be comfortable freehanding a drawing, which I'm not. But if you know how to grid, there's nothing you can't put on your canvas. Absolutely nothing. And gridding a portrait is not as difficult as you think it's going to be. Of course, for Patreon folks, I will have a tracing element for you for the tracing. If you want to make it bigger than what I can make on a 8x10 or an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, that's where my expertise ends. I don't know how to do that. So, yeah. But I will have a tracing element for you, but I would highly encourage you to grid. Or freehand draw, that's fine too. Anyway, oh, one other thing. I don't think I want to do the moon either, you guys. I was asking for ideas for next week's video. And a lot of you guys said the moon. And I said, oh yeah, that's a good idea. I could do something like that. But I'm actually going to be doing a video on another brand new Frederick's canvas that we'll also be doing a giveaway for. And I think my idea for this one is a moon. But this is a metallic canvas. It still has the plastic on it. Let me take the plastic off so you can see. They make silver too, but I got gold. So I have an idea for this, and it does involve a moon. So should I do 2 moons or just save a moon for this canvas? So that took the plastic off. Ooh, look how shiny that is, you guys. Whoa. That is really shiny. It's very, I don't know if you can tell how metallic it is. You can see that it's shiny. It's very metallic. That is very, very gold. It's very smooth too. This is a nice canvas, so I'm excited to try it. So anyway, keep thinking about what we can do for next week. That will be very simple. I even thought about maybe just doing a watercolor version of our night sky that we did a couple of weeks ago. Another animal, yeah, I definitely have a couple other animals that I want to be doing, but my issue at this point is I have like one day to film so that I can have a full day to edit. So I have to kind of come up with something quick. Show you what, Michelle? What am I showing Michelle? Okay. Man, I missed a lot of chat. I'm not great on 1 point perspective. That's your domain, dude. A creepy tree. Yes, Stacy, absolutely. Absolutely. Michelle, you didn't miss anything. Okay. Let's Red Rocks and call it Mars Landing. That could be interesting. I do love me some space stuff.
Other part, I believe that this is
Always space concepts are things that I enjoy. So I'm sure that if you guys are up for space,
in the back leg.
there's no boat. Michelle,
Make it
don't be
one solid
confused.
shape. Elephant leopard.
Bye, Stacy.
Just like a gray lump with a trunk. Got some of that lighter color here. Heavy pressure to get that paint off of there.
Hello, Sylvie. Sorry I didn't see you there before. I'm familiar with the expression, Eileen. I didn't just come in on the noon balloon.
I got a little extra water on my brush. It's starting to get dry. I'm just going to mix right into my white. Make sure that I keep those colors.
Moon landing, but a moon landing isn't something easy that I can knock out today. I'm looking for easy this week. I need easy. Very easy this week.
More of a solid line here.
Saturn.
Don't want a sharp edge on the inside, so I'm going to scumble that out.
I know you guys keep going back to the moon, but
Smaller
is it okay to have
get rid of those lines without
like moons,
dry.
more than one? Like moon and then a couple weeks later another moon? A garden and a farmhouse. A distant moon with a tiny rectangle on it?
Side to side bit.
Okay. You think the cactus sunset's okay? Food? For public, Tam? I was doing those for you guys. No planets crashing.
Go over into this area. It's okay, because like I said, we haven't finished that yet. We're going to come back with our darker value there. So we can cover up anything that gets carried away from us. I'd rather have you not worry about that and go into it than worry about it and have your trunk not turn out the way you want it.
Pat, I was actually working on something like that for this week, but there was one of the elements that I really wanted in it that was kind of fighting with me.
Reference image, I might get too reliant on
And I couldn't figure out how I wanted to get around that, so I stepped away from it. Like I said before about stepping away from things.
what parts of the image are important to me at this point.
But it's something I might have to just go back and make work because I liked the way the lake and everything else looked.
I
But
recommend
yeah,
the same thing for you. Don't
a moon behind a cactus.
reference image. Take the information that's important to you and then move on. Let's keep going with that color. Pop some down here.
Yeah, the saguaro night sky thing was kind of what I was thinking of. I was just worried that that would be too similar to, you know, this that we just did. So, but if you guys don't think it would be too similar to this that we just did, the exact same techniques, then that's what I'll do, because I could paint that tomorrow pretty quick.
Still have quite a bit of So again, I'm not using a lot of pressure. I might come in and put down a little block like that.
You guys have good ideas.
And I come back with the tip of the brush to scumble it out. And if it gets out of control, if I end up putting too much of this bright color somewhere where I want it darker, I'm not going to sweat that. I'll just leave it for now.
Make the sky a planet.
Colors and just a little bit. A little bit too much of a definition.
Different colors. No one will notice.
Scumbly bit. Alright, let's work on this eyebrow. First we've got our
Okay, I think you guys have given me enough ideas to last me for like a year and a half.
pull it this way a bit, barely touching.
So Stacy left already, and she had a question about like painting a kitty nose, and it sounds like she's having issues with that. And I don't even have a cat in front of me, strangely, right now. My phone has been ringing off the hook with fake phone numbers all day long. That's the third one. I don't have one right in front of me, but really the concepts that we talk about in this video, everything from gridding on, can be applied to anything, including portraits, including kitty noses, anything. You know, it's not about, like I said in here, it's not about
Just like the Donald Trump with the side to side.
creating what the elephant looks like. It's not about looking at the elephant and saying, well, this is what an elephant trunk looks like. Oh, this doesn't look like an elephant trunk. Let's fix it. Instead, in this one, it's about saying this line goes here and it's shaped like that. This line is now this color and the brush strokes move like that. And in relation to this color, we have this color. It's more about looking at shapes and colors. And if you can nail down shapes and colors, you can paint anything. You know, if you find that you're having a hard time with something like an animal's face or a person's face or anything, if you learn how to grid properly and you put the energy into it and the time into it, you can draw anything. If I can draw a face, if I can grid a face, then you guys can do anything, because there's no way I can freehand a decent face. Trust me. And it really goes for anything, you know. Like, I've never even drawn a cat nose, but if I sat down and I applied a grid to a cat nose, I'm confident that I could draw it quickly, easily, realistically, and then from there it would just be a matter of making sure that my values are there, you know, put the dark spot here, the light spot here, and that's really all you need. So Stacy, I know that's not a lot of help, because I'm not like actually drawing a cat nose for you, but you know, it would take me a minute to find an image, apply a grid, prepare my canvas, and then actually grid it. So good, Lindsay. I'm glad that that was helpful. I think hang on. Let me pause this for a second. Yeah, Debbie, that's another good point that Debbie brings up. Sometimes if you turn your work upside down, whether you're drawing it or you're painting it or you're gridding it or whatever, put it upside down. Look at your reference image upside down, because that forces you to see the colors, the shapes, the values. Those are the important pieces of information. So have you guys ever seen, I actually meant to talk about this in the elephant video and then I didn't, but it's a really important thing, I think. You guys have all seen, I'm assuming, the people who have like a humongous canvas and they're just going to town. They're just like painting and you're looking at it and you're like, what is this mess that they're painting? I have no idea what this is. And, you know, they're just confidently moving through it, and then at the end they flip it upside right, and you're like, oh my gosh, it's Marilyn Monroe or it's Einstein or whatever. They're able to do that, first of all, because they practiced. I know I have a couple of friends who have done it before, but also because when they're drawing it, when they're painting it, they're not like, that's not what Marilyn Monroe's face looks like. That's not what lips look like. That's not what a forehead looks like. They know the shapes and the colors and the values. They're looking at the entire image as individual shapes and colors, not as an overall, this has to look like a face. This is how you draw a face. So if you can start thinking about everything you want to paint like that, you know, rather than looking at the elephant, for example, and saying, oh, well, what does an elephant look like? How big is the elephant's head in relationship to its body? Or, you know, how do I make the elephant's trunk curve like this? Instead, break it down into individual shapes and colors, and you can do it. And that's what a grid is really helpful for, because, you know, let's jump over to here real quick. Let me just draw on here just a really quick. Not even busting out the ruler. Look at that, guys. I can't even draw straight lines. Come on. Think I can draw a face freehand? Okay, so here's our grid. You know, and if we want to draw like a circle or whatever, let's say a heart, you know, if I come in here and I look at my image that's gridded and I say, okay, well, this piece, it enters the grid right about in the center there, and it exits right about in the center there. So now I know where it enters and exits, and I know that it comes around right about there and like that. And then I know the next portion, the next line, it crosses right there. And then it comes down into here just a little bit. You know, because I'm looking at how I have it gridded on, you know, whatever else. Let's see, maybe it exits right there. All of the little shapes in between, you're just going to pretend like, like you saw a gridded image like that, but I think you get the point. As long as you have really the starting and exiting points pretty much correct, you have a little bit of room that you can work in here. Maybe you want this to kind of zoom in a little bit more so it's a little bit more narrow. Maybe these bits you want it to be a little bit more uppy and pointy, but you know, it still enters and leaves at about the right spot. Then you're basically getting all the information that you need in there. So you don't have to focus so much on all of the little teeny tiny details. And it can help you break down all of those really complex shapes into, if you think of this one square right here, just this square, that's your whole canvas. And all of the drawing you have to do on that one square is that. And if you can accomplish that and look at your grid reference and you're like, yep, that line looks just like this line, then you've successfully drawn it. You know what I mean? Then you move on to the next one and look at that as your only canvas. And what does it look like on your reference image? And it comes like this. And now you've successfully drawn an entire image on a canvas. If that makes sense. Think of each square as a single image. Don't look at the whole image, like the rose that we did a while ago that was super complex. Even I got lost in that one. Don't look at the whole thing as a rose. Take it one square at a time and just fill in what's in that one square. And yeah, gridding will open up any single image you could ever want. So there's my rant about gridding again, because That's what I do. I'm going to sell you guys on gridding so hard. All of you guys who hate gridding, you're either going to learn how to draw freehand or man, you're going to decide that you like gridding just to shut me up. Bye, Barbara. I'm glad you got to hang out with us for a while. Exactly, Deb. It's compartmentalized. Exactly. Yeah, you can number the reference image, number the grids on your canvas. I know Gwen did that. And that could be very, very helpful. Yeah. What I tend to do is just like on really complex ones, like on the rows, I just kind of started like up at the top and just go all the way across the top row down the next row and just kind of, you know, go back and forth like that on each row. Don't try to follow something in the image, like start in the middle and just follow this line and then come back and follow this line. You're going to get really lost. Start up in one corner and just zigzag all the way down to the bottom.
See, it easily covers that chalk, so I'm not worried about the chalk.
Cindy, you chicken. Carrie, yes. I love that you love gridding. I love it too. Good, Deborah. I'm glad.
I don't want any hard line there. I want this black to
Print it out. You know, print your grid out. And then as you're looking at it, once you've filled one in on your canvas, just make a mark in that one so you know, oh, I've already done that one, you know, and count them. You know, every once in a while, like when I was gridding any of my portraits that I've done. In fact, this one you can see, I left the grid on there because I kind of liked it. See? See my grid in the background? It's part of the painting now. It was a little avant-garde and I liked that. But every once in a while as I'm going, even if I don't feel like I'm lost, I'll just kind of put my finger on the grid, the square I'm working on, and I'll count it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 from the top, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 from the side. And then I'll look at my reference image and I'll make sure that I'm working on the exact same spot. Just, you know, kind of checking your work a little bit to make sure that everything is where it should be. You chickens. You're welcome, Gretchen. I know the rose was brutal, guys. Even I was like, oh, good Lord. I'm pretty sure it took me about an hour to grid the rose. And that wasn't the first time I had done it. So I didn't get lost. I knew where I was. But that was that one was a beast.
I'm going to bring it in very similar to how I did it up there. Very light pressure. Smear it a little.
What, Gretchen? I thought you were going to use the grid. You chickens. Yeah, absolutely, Mickey. So if any of you are watching but you're not in chat, she asked if you, I apologize. I just assume Mickey. If Mickey's not a she, please yell at me. It just came out that way. But Mickey asked if you draw the image using the grid, but then you lose it when you start painting, can you re-grid the painting? Absolutely. You would just want to make sure that the paint is dry and then use a color of chalk or whatever that that if you can't get rid of it completely, it won't like stain or be overly obvious on your painting. That's okay, Jennifer. That's a good idea too, Debbie. Debbie said I used a different color of chalk to divide the canvas into quadrants to help keep track of where I was. That's an excellent idea. That's a really good idea, Debbie. And I hope that you don't mind if I might steal that when we do the portrait, because that could be really helpful. I'll try to remember that it was you that gave me that idea. If I forget, please yell at me. Back to palette knife, no grid required. Well, Rins, maybe you are testing me. Maybe I'll come up with a palette knife painting that requires a grid. A grid can help you do anything. A palette knife's just a technique.
Black, I don't have to be too overly specific with it.
Okay, good, Mickey. It was my intuition that said Mickey's a she. Yeah, Sharon, it's true. Yep.
I'm not done with this edge. Okay, I've taken a little bit
And,
of break.
you know, I know there's a lot of people who, no matter how much I rant about gridding, you're always going to be somebody who wants to trace because your goals are different. And I want you all to know that that's okay.
Not our focus.
You know, everybody's goals are totally different. Some people's goals are just to paint. They just want to get to the painting. They don't care about drawing. They have no intention of ever learning how to draw or, you know, improving drawing skills. All they want to do is paint. And that is not a bad thing. That's okay. And if that's you, that's one of the reasons I'm providing tracing elements to you guys here in Patreon. You are more than welcome to use them. I'm not providing tracing elements so I can poke fun at you and make you feel bad for not gridding. People who feel like they want to learn how to grid or they want to learn how to draw, they want to improve drawing skills so that they can start branching out and, you know, doing more originals, then I really encourage you to learn how to grid. Because, you know, what if you become a pretty dang good artist, but good, Cindy, because I never want to make you feel bad. But what if you become a really good artist, but you never paint on anything above a 16 by 20, let's say, and somebody, no. Olaf got a new ball. Now he's trying to squeak it in here while Mama's working. You better take it out there. Good boy. But now somebody's offered you the opportunity to paint a mural on a side of a building. How are you going to make a tracing element big enough to paint anything on a side of a building? And I know that probably most of you are sitting there going, like that'll ever happen. That stuff happens all the time. It happens a lot. And those opportunities are out there for you. If you can grid it, you could take an image this big and put it on the entire side of a building. Any image. So you would never paint on the side of a building? Why? You'd say no? Not for $3,000 you wouldn't. I have a friend who just did a mural on the side of a building, not a very big building, for $3,000. And so yeah, those things happen and lots of tracing paper. No way, man. Nope. You're afraid of ladders. I don't think she used a ladder. It wasn't, like I said, it wasn't a huge building. It was no taller really than a house, like a one-level house.
Paint is all drying out. Just put out a little bit. You can always get more.
Yeah, see, Deborah, and somebody has to paint those. And you guys are absolutely, you know, you guys are absolutely able to do things like that. Once you learn all of the things that you need to learn, you can definitely paint murals.
With this section back here. So
Yeah, you could use a projector, but then you're going to be out at night because you can't use a projector in the middle of the day. And even then, it's only going to project, you know, a small section, unless you can have a humongous projector, in which case those are pretty expensive. How do you grid on a building? Same. You know, there's there's contractor tools that will like use a laser to make a line, and then you just go across with a piece of charcoal or something and make the line, or the little chalk strings, you just like pull the string and let it go and it goes boing and it snaps the wall and leaves a chalk line on the wall.
not very heavy. I'm not using cold.
Yeah, exactly, Gretchen. Yeah, there's lots of
You want to get rid of some of
there's lots of things you can do.
either just wet your
We're kind of going through a mural phase here in my town. So a lot of my friends have been doing murals. I would love to do a mural, but I don't have the time for that. That's a lot of work. But, you know, I've never painted that big, but I know that if I had an image in mind, I would have no problem doing it.
Bring some down here to the edge. I have not finished the area next to the trunk, so I am going to end up kind of fuzzing that line out a little because it's more important
So
to me that I get
somebody
the way I need to.
in Patreon said that they had a really hard time with this painting. Who was it, and what exactly was it that you were having a hard time with? To see how what's done, Sylvie? For a mural? I've never done it. I have no idea. I mean, I haven't done it. I don't have the opportunity to do it right now. The Lucy tools? I'm not sure what that is.
Let's continue down.
Yeah, I did freehand that. That's a pretty simple shape.
Immediately start kind of scrubbing that out. Take a hint of it that way for a highlight. Very light pressure. See, I'm just kind of dragging my brush.
Oh, film my friend.
I might be able to hear.
Yeah, I guess I could have. She's already done.
No, probably meowing a whole lot.
Oh, Sylvie, I just mean there's been a lot of new murals in my town. A lot of my friends have done murals. I'm sure there's going to be others. I don't know of any that are going on right now, but one of my friends, like I said, she just finished up 2 murals. There's a whole little corner in my town that just got covered in murals earlier this year. I actually helped with one of them for an hour or so one day. I went and helped one of my friends with hers, but yeah, I don't know of any that are happening right this moment, but I'm sure any day now there will be one.
Right next to the dark, that creates
Oh, Cindy, I bet.
dimension. You don't want to have, bright white in the middle of nothing and like dark nowhere near.
Pat found the white too bright for this part. Oh, so when you put it on there, it was like white, white, white. Yeah, just do like what I did on his forehead later, where I mix up my dark color with a little matte medium and then just gently scrub over top of that very, very transparent color. And that way you don't have to keep layering and layering and layering. You can just like kind of flatten it out a little bit, just darken it a tiny bit.
To say that this is an elephant. It's not drawing a perfect elephant or using the right color of gray. That's very little of it, Focus on shapes and colors, shapes and values.
Who is it who did the pink elephant? Was it Lisa?
And you will have believable.
Have you guys seen her pink elephant?
Really
I'm not sure what that is, Mickey.
trunk hair.
I have no idea.
I don't mind saying I was a little nervous about the trunk because
I'll have to look into that. I'm not sure what that is.
for me to
Yeah, Lisa's pink elephant was just,
suggesting things, but then
it was so good. It was so sweet.
Whoa, did you see that? Man, I caught
It was excellent.
digging in too deep into details and kind of getting lost. And I don't mean getting lost in my
I
painting.
think I've heard of that, Sue. Didn't they like use a mirror and a glass and like somehow I think I know what you're talking about now, but no, I've never
Keep going.
done
Just loading up with my light.
anything like that.
Just gonna make sure that we're good in here. A little bit of a brighter color right there. I do want a little bit of this brighter color in the trunk.
Tim's Vermeer. I'll have to look that up.
I'm gonna wait and I'm gonna do it with this brush. And I'm medium just to smooth that out a bit. There we go. Almost blazing.
Yeah, Gretchen, it was kind of a warm pink, but yeah, it was definitely pink. But yeah, there was some orangey and it was beautiful.
Painted over a lot of those little speckles. But if I want more, I can come back and do them again.
No, the Shire horses, that was Lee. And Lee's not here today either.
Here, the way it is for now.
Oh, bye, Deb. Get some rest.
Maybe just a hint of that brighter color right in here. I'm just kind of dry brushing there, really. There's very little paint on this.
Who was it? Somebody said on Patreon that they were having a hard time with this and that they would be here today. Oh, Riley. Is Riley here?
Techniques that we're using,
Riley's not here, is she?
concepts and everything. This is all very similar to the Buddha painting that we did. I knew I said I was going to move on from that color, but I'm just going to kind of glaze right here. There we go. So by glaze, I mean I just picked up a little extra matte medium to make the paint a little bit more transparent, so I could put it over top of that. If you're not using matte medium, just maybe a tiny bit of extra water or even just dry brush it. Okay, let's move on and work on this section here along the side of the trunk. Okay,
I'm going
gonna
to
go
skip
tiny
ahead
bit
just a
bright.
little bit because some of this is... Oh, I did use a bright. I didn't put the bright in my materials list. Sorry, guys, if that was confusing to anyone. So,
I like that shade.
anybody who has painted this, what things did you do differently? Whether it's, you know, the technique, how you got the elephant on the canvas, the colors you used. Tell me what you did that was maybe different than how I did it.
Same color I just used. And really, I'm gonna save the detail of the eye.
Olaf and that ball. If you keep hearing something that sounds like an animal getting stepped on in my house, it's just Olaf with the ball. When he gets a new toy, he really just like walks around the house with it in his mouth for like days. And he doesn't like chew down on it very often. Once in a while he'll chew on it for a second and squeak it, but he'll just like walk around the house with this ball in his mouth. And then after a couple more days, he gets tired of it and then he lays down and he tears it to shreds and we have to throw it away. You put a lot more splatters on your elephant. Nice. Did you post it somewhere, Jennifer?
Circles very, very light. But I'm still doing that exact same thing that I always tell you about, how hard pressure.
I don't know what the next painting is. That's what we've been talking about. I have no idea what I'm painting next week.
Kind of push.
Mr. Moon has a toy. His toy is Olaf.
Back into that old block.
He doesn't care about toys. We've bought him toys. He cares not for them. He doesn't like toys. He doesn't like treats. All Mr. Moon wants is to go outside and to rub on poor Olaf's face. That's all Mr. Moon wants. Oh, nice, Pat. The laser light for Moon.
Finish that up.
Speaking of that, we just took a picture of Olaf with his favorite
At this
tree.
point, if you wanted to flick some more of the little speckles,
Let me
on
see.
it, you could do that.
He's telling me about a picture he just took of the animals and then acts like he's not going to show me that.
Are you going to show them?
I don't know.
Now I feel like I want to.
It's Olaf with his favorite toy. And
Oh,
his favorite.
and Moon is meowing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll show him. So I'm going to show you this picture that Vince just took of the animals because it's cute. So Olaf tries to avoid Mr. Moon as much as possible, and Mr. Moon is obsessed with Olaf. Stop squeaking the ball. So this is Olaf laying on his dog bed and Mr. Moon taking up every bit of space that he can. I don't know if you can tell, but Mr. Moon is meowing. This is Olaf's brand new little green ball that he loves. So anyway, my crazy animals. Pat got splatter everywhere. Yes. Do you guys get splatter everywhere if you do it like I did here with the thumb? Because I don't. I mean, it'll get all over my hands, but it doesn't go all over the place. If I flick it or bang brushes together, it goes everywhere. That's why I don't do that anymore. Oh no, I'm sorry, Sharon. Sharon's dog is looking for the squeaky now because of Olaf's ball.
I think that's good. There's the tiniest hint of white in there.
Pat, for reals? When you flick stars like this, it gets everywhere? I don't understand that.
Very light flicks.
You guys aren't close enough to your canvas. You can't tell here, but I'm seriously about this far away from the canvas. If you're getting paint everywhere with that splatter technique, seriously, you're like, because legit, you guys. Here's my canvas. Let's see. Get it so it looks sideways to you. There. Here's my brush. It's like 3 inches maximum away from my canvas. That paint is not splattering anywhere except on the canvas directly in front of it. It's getting in my fingers, but it's not hitting me in the face. It's not dripping on the floor. If it's dripping on the floor, it's too wet. It's not flying all over the place. If you're banging your brushes together, that stuff is flying everywhere. That will coat your entire room. But yeah, if you're doing it this way, get that brush right up to the canvas, right just a couple inches away from it. And you shouldn't get paint everywhere at all. Yeah, a foot back, that's kind of far, I think. And Tan uses a toothbrush. Tan, you don't get much back splatter on that, right? It doesn't spray in the face or flip everywhere either.
Just to give you an idea of how light that spray was. So it just kind of helps pull the 2 layers together a little.
But yeah, I can't imagine that a toothbrush would do much
Go to my number 2.
splatter either.
I'm really just going to pick up white. And if it's a little too white once I put it on the canvas, then I'll grab a little bit.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
I'm going to start with pure white. Just a little bit. And I'm going to come into here. Make sure I have that crisp edge very lightly.
Autra's all beg to differ.
It's very light for sure to just get some more little spots in there to really amp up those wrinkles. Don't spend a lot.
That's true.
Crazy with it.
I was really surprised that this video came in at about an hour.
I am scrubbing with this brush just a
When I decided to do the elephant, I was like, oh, it's going to be like the Buddha video. It's going to be long and drawn out and layer upon layer upon layer upon layer. But I did it pretty quick, I thought, so that was okay.
but nothing looks like shocking white.
Everything I own is paint splattered too, including myself. Let's see, yeah. Orange all over me. Oh yeah, there's the black. I was like, I had a bunch of black on me. Yep, it's on this hand. On my finger, I've got orange there too. My phone, I blopped green paint all over it, so I've got green paint. You can't see it. There's like green paint in the speaker there. Everything is covered in, there's green paint up there. Yeah. Everything is covered in paint.
Just zoom me out there a little bit so you can kind of see the overall effect. How this bright light here is kind of creating a little bit more interest there. And also, it's going to zoom out from what I'm doing so that, like I said, you can see the overall effect that's happening. But also, to get you kind of used to looking at your painting a bit from a distance.
Oh yeah, I've got paint all over the floor. Every time I get more paint on the floor, I always think, it's okay, when we go to sell this house, we'll just give the people concessions for new flooring. Because I'm not going to replace the replace the carpet just because I got paint all over it. And I'm not going to stop my painting and like bust out the rubbing alcohol or whatever to, oh, it's my fault. I'm not going to like stop what I'm doing to like scrub paint out of the carpet. I just look at it and go, "Oh, there's paint on the carpet now."
Looking so good. You know, each brush stroke, it looks exactly the way you wanted it to look as you put it down. And then you finish up and you stand
Welcome, Lisa. We were talking about you and your pink elephant earlier.
right that everything else feels really out of place. So that's another,
Yeah, if you're renting, you might want to take a few more precautions.
get a little distance, do a little bit, stand back and look at it. And I don't think I'm going to take this bright white all the way to the bottom. Part of the trunk is a little bit more in the shadow, I feel like.
Off of hardwood floors, Cindy, it shouldn't be hard at all.
A pure white
Um,
expert, so I'm not using
I would just take like some, you can even just use like water, just like spray, just spray it on it, let it sit for, I don't know, 5 minutes, if even that. And then I would get like a towel and maybe a little bit of elbow grease, but you should just be able to rub it right off of the floor. A good friend of mine will paint just right on top of her hardwood floors and just let paint, she just lets the paint go everywhere. And I was like, oh my gosh, you live in a 150-year-old house. You're covering the hardwood floors in paint. And she's all, The steam cleaner, she's like, it comes right off. So it's not too hard. Yeah, a steam mop should take it up immediately. Absolutely. That's a good idea, Mickey. Absolutely.
pure black and in the shadow.
And a drop cloth, like one of those big canvas drop cloths, is really good. That's actually, I had one of those in my studio that I rented because, you know, clearly I didn't want to replace carpet in there. And so it's just one of those big canvas drop cloths, and it feels all artsy because it's canvas and everything, but you can just splatter paint all over it. It doesn't soak through to the other side. I mean, if you like dumped paint water on it, it would soak through, but I mean, if you starched it, you could use that spray starch and then nothing would get through it. So, but that's another idea. And those canvas drop cloths are cheap. You can get them at like Home Depot, Lowe's for not very much. A lot less than replacing carpet. And the canvas drop cloths, if you buy one and it's too big or it's the wrong shape for your room, just cut it with some scissors.
Nice and dark right there, so the eyebrow really shows up.
This eye gave me such fits. There were a couple times where I was like, this eye looks like crap. They're going to hate me. But then I fixed it up. It looks like a tire right there. I'm going to skip past it until it looks like a decent... That ugly eye won't stop looking at me. Okay, there. It's getting better now. Oh, he hasn't even been painting? That's too bad. Bye, Lindsay. I'm glad you got to come hang out with us today.
And then highlight at the top of the eye.
Ooh, that would be interesting, Audra. That would be cool.
Down over it.
I try to fake you out at least once in every video. I love your pink elephant so much, Lisa.
Somebody I don't need to be that sleepy.
It is, and I think it's because, you know, because our brains automatically, we look for eyes. So if there are eyes to be seen, that's where your brain is automatically going to tell you to look. And, you know, if a nose doesn't look quite normal, it doesn't weird your brain out like eyes. If eyes don't quite look right, it will weird your brain out. So eyes can always be the most difficult thing to paint. Absolutely. Bye, Lori. Thanks for hanging out with us.
Reinstate that highlight right there. Say that's where his highlight.
We'll probably be done here in just a few.
Okay, there are a couple touch-ups I want to make, but I'm gonna.
We'll skip ahead here a little bit because I'm messing with that eye again. But those of you who are new to our Patreon group, I mean, I've talked about it in our videos before, you know, in public videos before about layers, working in layers, how important that is, because you can fix anything, you can change anything. You're never stuck with, you know, anything. If you don't like something, just put another layer over it.
All right.
But yeah, we really hit that message here in this group quite a bit. So if you're not in the habit of, you know, moving on to another layer, then hopefully we can get you in that habit, because for me, it's very liberating, you know, to be able to say, oh, that looks like junk, but that's okay, because I can come back and I can change it and add another layer, and, you know, and every single layer just helps build toward the final look. Right, Tan? Elephant eyes are tiny. They're tiny.
I'm quite happy with my elephant. You know, for not really having much of a plan or an idea about how exactly I was going to do the elephant, as you guys watched me do it for the first time, I'm pretty happy with him. I've been challenging myself lately. I usually will work in pieces, you know,
And then not only are they tiny, but then they've got like,
work on one
you know,
piece of it.
wrinkly skin around them that kind of makes it look even more buried. You're like, can it actually see where it's going?
On one canvas, you know.
Yeah, 10 probably. But if you look at the reference image, I think my eye is a little larger and more defined than the one in the image, the reference image. Oh, Carolyn.
Yeah, I didn't do that with this one at all.
Yeah, I have, like I said, I have a couple other animals that I do want to work on.
So I'm pretty happy with it.
I was going to do the goat,
Finished up. I'm just going to touch up in here.
but maybe I think, because if I do the goat, man, it's going to just keep pushing everything else back.
Fairly light color.
There's so many paintings that I want to be doing right this minute. But I did make a grid and a tracing element of the goat. So I think I'll post those to you guys. And maybe that can kind of be like a little challenge for you. I want, because I've told you before that, you know, you can take 1,000 artists and have them all paint the exact same thing without any instruction or anything. They're all going to use different materials. They're all going to use a different size canvas. They're all going to use different paint colors and techniques. And the paintings are all going to look so different. So maybe I would be interested to see how you guys all interpret that as a painting. So the original reference image of what, Jennifer? Which one? So maybe I'll post the grid and the tracing element and the reference image of the goat for you guys and kind of challenge you all to just go with it and see what you end up with.
It's looking better though. It's looking a little bit more.
I should paint Olaf. Olaf's ugly. He's sweet and cute, don't get me wrong, but he's kind of ugly and gross.
In between the body and the face.
Well, yeah, it's all in Pixabay, but I don't know which one you're Which one Jennifer was referring to? Cindy likes that idea. Thank you, Cindy.
Much better. Let's just put a
I'm excited to see how you guys interpret the goat.
light-ish color. Crystalline.
Yeah, the elephant. Yep, just on Pixabay.
I need it to have a pretty good highlight. Pretty light highlight.
And I believe I included the original reference image, Jennifer, in the PDF download as well. It should be in there without the grid on it too. Yeah, I thought so.
Nowhere near this much light in the eye.
Yeah, I try to always include that for you guys, you know, just in case you want to take it and do something completely different with it.
Change it. You're not a photocopy machine. You're an artist.
Oh, I love goats. So my mom and Vince and I, we went to, there's a place in Idaho that makes the essential oils that we really like. So we drove up there one day a couple weeks ago. It was like a 2-hour drive. And we took a tour of the facility and bought a bunch of stuff. So we get there and we pull into the parking lot and stop. And right behind the facility, they have like some farmland where they're growing produce and everything. And they had a bunch of goats walking through there. And so, of course, I was like, one track mind. We meet the guy who's going to give us the tour. And I said, at some point today, I need to pet one of your goats. And he looked at me like, okay. So as we were leaving, I just walked right over there. I was like, all right, I need you to bring the goats out. And I got to pet a bunch of the baby goats, and they were so sweet. And this one, I was petting him, and he was just like falling asleep on my hand. I love goats. They're the best. Oh, I understand what you mean, Jennifer. Yeah, I didn't even think about that. I apologize. Yeah, just get it off of Pixabay. It should be pretty easy to find if you just search elephant. It was one of the top searches. I didn't think about that. I will provide you guys the link from now on so that you can access that better. Right? See, Sharon knows what's up. Goats are, oh, they're so cute. They're so sweet. I love them. Oh, it looks like we are, yep, just doing that last little bit there. So we really didn't do any demoing today, except for a little bit of grid work. Yeah, just elephant, not elephant head. So that's the end of the video. What else do you guys, is there any, oh man, my hair's out of control today. Is there anything else you guys want to talk about? Where even is that? Oh, there it is. That's not supposed to happen. There we go. Oh, Kathy, so sweet. Black face sheep. Is that, Kathy, that's like the little cartoon sheep, right? With the black noses and then the white wool. How cute. Yeah. I know sometimes the big goats can be really gross. I'm pretty sure that I need a pygmy goat and one that's always going to be a baby so that it can always be about this big. Because how bad could one of those stink? And if it stinks, you just throw it in the sink and give it a little suds up when you wash your hands next time. So yeah, you guys are all pretty confident in the fainting goats are hilarious. It kind of makes me feel bad, but it's also really funny. So a question that I wanted to ask you guys for a while now is, sometimes, sometimes these viewing parties seem like you guys get a lot out of them, and sometimes it seems like maybe it's not quite as beneficial to you as it used to be or whatever. So if you guys have any ideas for how we can make these events, more fun or more beneficial so that you get more out of it, please feel free to let me know. If you think it's tedious to sit and watch the video, we don't have to do that. We can do it however you guys want. So please feel free to, bring up those ideas, and we can change it anytime you want. No, I have not settled on anything for next week's painting. Nope. I think I might have a little bit more direction now than I did. Yeah, Atra, that's kind of what I'm thinking, and that's why I've started kind of skipping around a little bit. So, because I think that they're really helpful and I think they're good to do, but sometimes I feel like it gets a little long, and I want to make sure that that you guys get the information out of it that you need. I don't want you to ever be like, we don't ever do anything in those anyway. I'm not going to go today. I want to make it something that you look forward to because you get something out of it. Yeah, we can do something like that, a poll during the week. Yeah, we can try something like that. Yeah, we can definitely do something like that. Maybe, Jennifer, but I wonder how valid it would be at that point. I wonder, because then you guys would have another painting on your mind. But I do know that there are people who don't do the painting until after we do the viewing party. I can comment on your painting and tell you where you could improve. I'm probably not going to do that because I don't feel like that's my place to say, this is great, you can improve by doing this. I don't feel like that's my place. Now, if you came to me and you said, the shape of my elephant is off, how can I fix that? Or I'm not confident with this technique, or I need help with this technique, then I can help with that. But yeah, because let's say that you experimented with something on your painting and you really liked the way it turned out. And then I came along and I was like, oh, but you should change this. If you didn't do this, this would be better. And now you're like deflated because you really liked that and it was something that you stepped outside of the box on to experiment with. And I would never want to do that to you. So that's why I don't, unless you ask specifically about something. Like when we get to the point where we're doing our critique events, which I feel like I'm close to wanting to try that out. I will never just take your painting and be like, let's critique this bad boy. I'm going to ask you, what areas on this do you feel like you struggled with, or what areas on this do you feel like you need help with, are you unsure of, so that I can focus directly on those things that you feel like you need help with. There may be things where I'm like, also, if you just like push this a little bit more, so there may be times where I kind of step out of that and offer a little bit of unsolicited advice, but for the most part, that's not something I feel like I have the right to do. Anyway, good, Sue. I'm glad to hear it. Good. If you guys don't need anything else, then I'm gonna go. Good, Ten. I'm glad that made sense. It's just unsolicited critiques can potentially hurt feelings. Even the most well-intentioned and kindest delivery can potentially hurt feelings. and I never, ever, ever want to do that. So, but yeah, if you guys don't need anything else, then I'm going to go and feed the spousal unit, who is jonesing for some spaghetti right about now. He already started cooking, you guys. He's so good. Yeah, so the very second I have something recorded for, look, my phone is ringing again, you guys, and they're just like random Utah numbers that I have no idea. As soon as I have something, I will post it to you guys and show you what we're doing. And yeah. Mickey, I have a still life that I started a year ago. Has an Old Spice, old piece of glass in it with bubbles. Mickey, the best advice I can give you, because I can't really picture what you're talking about, is, you know, if you have a reference image, just really look at it and put the colors and the values where you see them. I know that's not a lot of help, but, you know, if it's like, if each bubble is really represented by like a white swipe here and a dark swipe here, and that's what they all kind of look like, then that's all you really need to do, a light and a dark, you know. If you can post a picture of what you're talking about in the community section on Patreon, that would be a little easier if we could see it, and then we can help a little bit more. But, and I'm going to sneeze now because my allergies are kicking up. So I'm going to go before I sneeze in your face. Our jam session tag, I think it's just Patreonster. So just hashtag Patreonster. Yeah, so please post a picture of that in the community tab on Patreon, and I'll take a look at it. So, all right, you guys, I love hanging out with all of you so much. It's my favorite part of every single week. And I will see you hopefully very, very soon with a painting for next week. So I did talk about that in the crystal video, Jennifer. Good thinking. Okay. Bye, everybody. I love you.